Hi everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome you to today's webinar. We're focusing on BrainPOP ESL. My name's Carrie McNano. I work on the BrainPOP Educators team, and I'm here with Bev Fine, who's going to be walking you through BrainPOP's ESL and sharing some of her tips and tricks for working with ELLs in the classroom and using our wonderful product. I'm going to hand it over to Bev, and she can introduce herself, tell you a little bit about her background, and then she'll walk you through today's agenda.
So I'm Bev Fine, and I'm Editorial Director of BrainPOP ESL. Just quickly, teaching ELLs has been my whole career, my whole life, and I've taught in a lot of places in the United States and places abroad, and taught every level actually, and trained teachers too. And I've been working here at BrainPOP for the past 8 years. So this is I'm kind of close to retirement, so this was a really nice way to finish up my career here at BrainPOP. It is like an overview of BrainPOP ESL. So I want to take you through the basics. And so what is it exactly, BrainPOP ESL? Well, it's a comprehensive language learning resource and tool, and also comprehensive because it involves all 4 language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. All of those, and you get all of the tools that you need also, which are the reason what we're going to show you today in this webinar. How do you use it? Let's just go into how do you use BrainPOP ESL. Also, this is our homepage. You can use it with a whole class, obviously, with a media center, small groups in your classrooms, or centers in your classrooms. It's great for that. Teachers love it. Of course, individual students on devices. It's wonderful for newcomers who come at all different times during the year, which I know we all have. And it's great for that because it's so engaging and non-threatening to them. So it lowers that affective filter, so they're not so nervous to interact with it. And it's wonderful also for home because parents can also, families, siblings can also join the kids, and everybody can, benefit from BrainPOP ESL. Teachers can either use our program and follow our program, since it is a linear program, and I'll show you that in a second. But mostly we find that teachers use BrainPOP ESL as a supplement. So showing you from the agenda again, we're going to look at some of the features and support materials and everything that we have to offer. So now I'm going to go over to the live site, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, you should be seeing the live BrainPOP ESL site on my screen. Although this is the student, so I wanted the wait, I'm going to just go to a different browser, and now this is me as a teacher. I don't know if you noticed that so quickly that I switched over, but in the other browser, I was in Firefox. I was logged in as a student. It said student Fine. I'm not really creative. And here I'm the teacher, Bev Fine. And I'll show you how that works later on also. So we're looking at the home page, and I would say the most useful thing for you here on the home page is right here, the grammar index. And that's because it shows you also how BrainPOP ESL is organized. So you could see we do have the 3 levels. Here's level 2, level 3. And you see in each level there are 6 units, and each unit has 5 lessons. So that, doing quick math, that makes 30 lessons, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 per level, 90 lessons for the whole program. We are pretty cohesive each unit. You can see here unit 2 is all about present progressive. That means all 5 lessons in the unit are about present progressive, just one focusing on affirmative, negative questions. So we try to do that throughout, keep the units cohesive. The 5th lesson, just a tip for you, is always a review of the 4 lessons that were in that unit. Just to show you a little glimpse of some of the other units. Now we're in unit level 2. Level 2 will go on to, it focuses a lot on modals, comparatives, superlatives. Level 3 gets more advanced grammar. You can see this whole unit is all about the passive and affixes and infinitives and gerunds and conditionals and reported speech. So that's kind of how it progresses. Another useful tool here is what's this popping up, is the alphabetical list. And that's really useful because maybe you have a student that, has to review something, tag questions or so this is an easy way for you to search, and that will take you right to that lesson that deals with it. What else here? So that's the grammar index. Also on the home page, you can see we have a button here for our WIDA correlation. So those of you who are in WIDA states, this is a very detailed explanation of how we correlate to the WIDA standards. And of course, the placement test is also going to be something you want to know about. Now, if you know that your students are beginners, then you're going to start them at level 1, unit 1, lesson 1. But if you have students who come in during the year or you have multi-level classes, then you can certainly have them take our placement test. So before I open that, let's just go over here to this information button, and this will, here you can see a little bit of information about the test, and gives you a glimpse of how we have divided up the levels in the test. So remember, we have three levels. So we've divided each of those 6 units into 3. So the first 3 units of the level are the beginning, and the second 3 units of that level would be high beginning, intermediate, high intermediate. And you can see how they correlate to other, the European the C4 levels and WIDA and TESOL levels. So let's go back to that test and just to show you a little bit of that. And then see these bars up here? These are the 6 different designations that your students can be placed into, these colored bars. It's a receptive, it tests receptive knowledge, so it only will test listening comprehension and reading comprehension. Let's just show you this one.
Hi, I'm Jack Bolton. I'm 10 years old.
So the students just have to listen and recognize which one that would be. I hope that you heard that. If it was playing, if you didn't hear, can you just let us know in the chat box? I'll just play one more.
Are there any rabbits in the park? There are some rabbits in the park.
Now, if they get it wrong, they're not going to know. Every one of these sections has from 8 to 12 questions, and if the student misses a third of the questions, then they're going to be dropped out automatically, and they'll get a banner that says, "Congratulations, you placed in this level," and it'll take them to it. One question, though, that I'm going to answer before you ask that, it's probably going to be on your mind, or it will be later. Does our program will it track the students? Will it pick up where they left off? And I'm sorry, but the answer to that is no. It doesn't. It doesn't start them from the last place that they were working on, from the last lesson. So whenever they go into BrainPOP ESL, they'll go back into the home page. And well, that is something that we do want to add, and you will see we are adding a lot of things soon, but that one not yet. Okay, so that was our placement test, and let's go. Right down here is another really great resource for you where it says teacher resources. And this button, this will take you to a lot of different materials and resources that you can use. But you know what? I'm not even going to open this up because I did already mention a little bit that we are heading toward a redesign that's happening it's going to launch very soon. And I can already show you the updated and the new teacher resources area. So I'm not even going to open this one. I'm going to go right to this tab, but later I will show you how to get to it. And what our new teacher resources area looks like is this. And I'm just so happy to show this to you because It's great. So here's everything that you would need when you go in or to find out about using BrainPOP ESL. And it's organized so well for you. So first of all, right here is a complete curriculum with all of our vocabulary, our reading and writing, our grammar, our functions, everything is in there. In this one, I'm not going to open every single thing because there's so much to show you. In this one, there are different kinds of guides that will help you when you're just getting started. This one I'll just open to give you a glimpse. This is our cross-product content chart. And this, if you're already using BrainPOP Junior or BrainPOP or even BrainPOP Espanol, this shows you how all of our content movies are parallel. So we have, you might be showing scientific method or recycling. Oh, which today you might have been showing a recycling movie. And it shows you what we have on BrainPOP ESL that is parallel to that. So most of our movies are about cute situations that the characters get into, but as you can see, we have a lot of academic content themed movies also. And this also gives you, and even Espanol, the corresponding movies in Espanol, and related games on GameUp. Okay, and go back to our resources. Here again is the WIDA correlation and that the levels, the proficiency level chart I showed you before. Here I want to go open these up and show you these because this is what's wonderful. So here are all of our lesson plans. Every single lesson comes with lesson plans, and you see we have it divided by levels. So you see how this goes every single, here's the 5 lessons in the unit, and you can see every single unit and each of the 5 lessons are in here. Level 1, Unit 3. Let's just open this one. If I click on this or the movie, then it's going to take me right to that lesson. If you want to see the lesson plan, then click on Lesson Ideas. And here it'll take you to the BrainPOP Educators Lesson Ideas page, and you can, isn't it great? You can see right here on the right side in the panel, it gives you a little glimpse of things that you will open up in the lesson plan. The teaching tips that are explained in the lesson plan, if you don't know how to do them, they're explained right here. And just to show you what the lesson plans look like. Here they are, and just different ideas that you can do to help you teach this lesson. So those 2 little thumbnails that you saw before are this. This lesson is teaching there is, there are. And if you remembered, there were actually 2 of them right there on the right side. And because to teach there is, there are, so we gave you 2 different images that are similar. So in the lesson plan, we recommend to do a find the differences activity with partners. They could sit with their backs to each other and ask questions. So differences would be, the number of birds, or maybe there isn't an airplane, or different things that are in the pond, or you get the idea. So it is recommended to do with that lesson, but it's recommended for many other lessons too. And I know you'll think of a lot of ideas also. It would be wonderful just to ask questions about, or to practice a certain tense, to show it and take it away and then ask what was in the picture. I know you're thinking of all kinds of ideas. That's how it is with ELL teachers. So I wanted to show you that. Let's go back to the resources area, and we were in lesson plans, get out of that. And let's show you, here's the learning strategy. So anywhere where in the lesson plans where we recommend a learning strategy, those are explained here. And here we also have them grouped by the kind of learning strategy they are. So you can see vocabulary learning, reading and writing learning, or content or grammar learning, concepts, things like that. So you can open those on your own time. I want to also show you, wow, look at all of the wonderful graphic organizers that we have too. And these are also grouped for you by, the great thing about graphic organizers is that, you use them for what it is you want to focus on. Are you focusing on teaching, vocabulary or a text structure, or learning the content? So there's so many different, look at this, look at all these wonderful graphic organizers. This is just great for that. So, look in here. And also there are direct links in each of the lesson plans. And images, wait till you see this one. This one, this just blows me away, really. Here's the ones we saw before, and I love these action images. This one also is this was also actually for an advanced lesson, a passive lesson to teach the passive progressive tenses. So the intent was like the dog is being chased by the pig is being chased by the little dog, or the tractor is being driven by the man. The house is being, so you see, but you know that you can use it with so many other things. Again, so many different ways that our materials can be used. These are all made by our wonderful, talented BrainPOP animators. Look at all of these. They're wonderful. And direct links, again, are in every lesson plan. And the last thing I want to show you are the printable activities. So these are specific activities that were that go with specific content, learning lessons. So, for instance, these are the actual storyboards that our animators started with. So it's a good way they can be cut up and put into sequences, or sometimes we give you blank ones so the kids write their own captions. Take a look here, go through. You're going to have just so many things that you can that you can use. Okay, I'm going to get out of that and take us back here to the home page, and let's go into a lesson here. Do you have any, ask questions in the chat box if you have any questions about the lesson plans or those resources. I'm going to go actually into a level 3 lesson. You can see in level 3 there are a lot more academic content movies. I'm going to take us down here to Unit 6, lesson 4, because they're all really cute, but I really like this one. It's about idioms. And idioms, we all know they're really hard for English learners to learn. So this is the way that every single BrainPOP ESL lesson looks. Every lesson page looks the same way. And here in the corner, they'll start with our movies. So I'm going to zoom it. And you actually have to start the movie to see that, and I'm going to pause right away, that it's actually 3 movies. So the default, what it's going to go into right away, is the story movie, the content movie. But you see right here, we also have a separate vocabulary movie and a separate grammar movie. So you have to open it up to see those. So let's just play a little bit of this for you to get an idea.
Shake a leg, Moby. We have a lot to do this morning.
You can turn closed captions on or off.
What are you doing, Moby? I didn't mean to actually shake your leg. It's an expression, something we say. It means hurry up. Today is Mother's Day, and I want to have breakfast all ready for my mom when she wakes up. Yes, Moby, I try to be a good son. I want to do something nice for her today. You promised to help me, so get your head out of the clouds, Moby. You're being too literal, Moby. I didn't mean that literally.
So you can see when he beeps, as in all the BrainPOP movies, so that's an opportunity to pause and to try to guess what they think that Moby is saying. Now the difference, there are movies on BrainPOP. I know has a movie about idioms and cliches. Junior, I don't think so, but the difference is that the BrainPOP movies are wonderful, of course, but they take for granted that the kids understand what these words are. So we will always paraphrase right in our lessons what the word means. Give them other examples of it.
Literal means the exact meaning of the words, but I don't mean that you actually have your head in the clouds. It's an expression that means you are daydreaming or thinking about something else. Now, will you please carefully measure?
Okay, so let's just go in to show you a little bit about the vocabulary. I would probably do the vocabulary movies first.
Expression.
And here is another way to use the word expression. So we give you multiple meanings of words too.
Expression.
And here,
Speaking, painting, writing, dancing, and playing music are all forms of expression. Express. We express what we think and feel in different ways.
this is what we call word connections. So the language is a little bit more advanced now. We are in level 3, but we do the same things with all of the vocabulary in level 1 and level 2. I'm just gonna hurry this along to show you another kind of examples of words.
Thumb.
So we'll do words like expression and literal and figurative, but also words like thumb and lip, because those are words that are used in the movie. So we figure, well, they might not know these words.
Lip. Chest.
And also there are a lot of idioms with
Chest.
with body
Face.
parts. So that's why we included those.
Face.
And words like clumsy.
Clumsy. Clumsy.
It's a word that's used when he's explaining.
Insult. Zip.
So that's an example of the vocabulary movie. And right here with the puzzle piece, let's just quickly look at an example of the grammar movie. And I look at these as animated charts.
Idioms. An idiom is an expression that has a different meaning from the separate meanings of its words. Moby, can you give me a hand? No, Moby. It means, can you help me? Aha, I caught you red-handed. No, Moby. It means that I caught you doing something.
So you can see how this goes. This one is a little bit different than the other grammar movies because it's dealing with idioms, not a grammar point. But I love how this is done. Also, it's all about patterns when teaching language. So this would be a really fun one to do with partners also. Stop it before Ben explains what the idiom means and have them say it before he does. And I like it that it's just they can anticipate what's coming because they're all following the same pattern. Down here are the 8 interactive features that go with every single lesson. So the first one is always our flashcard activity that we call flash words. So these are the new words that have come up in the movie. You can obviously do a traditional memory matching kind of game.
Face.
With these, it would be great on an interactive whiteboard, and of course, it's also wonderful on their devices. One thing that I didn't show you in the teacher resources page was the vocabulary resources for you. There is a whole explanation there of different ideas that you can do with this feature, the flashwords, besides the memory, just flipping the cards over. And I've just made another slide here to give you just a glimpse of that. And here are some of the things that are explained in detail that you'll find in the teacher resources under vocabulary learning strategies. One example is to do analogies. Of course, you can always do cognates and related words and things like that. But you will see that in looking at the words, things will come to you. So, I saw right away, well, there's a lot of body parts here. Let's see if I can think of any cognates. So that one worked. I would put this up on the board. Lip is to face as, did you already write it in the chat box, the answer? What is the answer? As blank is to hand. Carrie, did anybody give us the answer? Okay, Carrie, what's the answer? Look at the words.
Oh, man.
Lip is to face as, blank is to hand.
Is finger on there? Oh, thumb.
Yeah, she got it. You guys got it
Daydream.
too. So that's an example of that. Down here,
sun,
we also have our reading and writing. I'm not going to go into detail about those. I'll just open it up and show you. Our reading also really progresses from the beginning to an advanced level. So you can see by level 3, they're doing multi-level, multi-paragraph passages. And each unit is, remember I said they're cohesive, so each unit deals, all 5 lessons of the unit deal with a specific text structure. So this, all of level 3, unit 6 deals with informational reading and writing. So they'll read the passage and they get questions to answer, and then the writing that has to do with it, they have to write a passage or an essay, and we give them graphic organizers that go with it. And they're also always about whatever the lesson was about. So it was about idioms, and that's why then it's about what makes English hard, a lot of different challenges. I showed you this, but I'm logged in. Remember, I'm logged in right here as a teacher. So if I were logged in as the student, down here, the student would see the option to submit to the teacher. So you can submit it to what we call My BrainPOP. It goes into the student's own timelines, and that's a wonderful thing for the teacher to see and then send feedback back to the kids. Right here with the headphones is what we call Hear It,
click
Say
the
It.
pictures at the top to listen to sentences from the movie.
This is our listening
Then
and
follow the directions to record your own voice. Click the blue start button to begin.
this is our listening recording feature, and the feedback I get from teachers is always really positive on this. Let's just show you this.
Would you like to record your voice? Select the Allow button with the green check mark. Select a clip above. Hear it? Shake a leg, Moby. Say it. Click the red record button to start recording. Click the stop button when you're done.
Clicking the button. Shake a leg, Moby.
Click the blue play button to hear your recording.
Shake a leg, Moby.
If you're happy with your recording, click the green check button or record again.
I'm happy.
Now, click on a new picture.
So these are all clips from the movie, and that was a lot of instructions that we gave there, and I personally always just kind of find all of those instructions annoying, but they only happen in the very first clip. So all the ones after it are not going to have all of those instructions. So they'll be able to flow through it. Now, another thing, I mean, besides just, listening and recording, there's all kinds of things they can do with this too. This one, it happens to kind of echo the way that the grammar movie was, explaining they could explain what the idiom means. So here's something else that I made just to show you a little bit. You could do put simple dialogue prompts on the board. So they could do the Hear It, Say It exercise with pairs. And the first one would repeat after it, shake a leg, Moby. And the partner asks, what does shake a leg mean? And back to student A explains what it means. So, you also are always going to be thinking of extra things that you can do with our features. And right here, we have 2 game-like features. We call Play It, this we call Practice. And these are other ways to practice all of the content that they're learning in the lesson. Every lesson, every Play It has a different kind of a template, a different kind of a game. So they're never going to get bored with them because they're always different in every lesson. This one is what we call our mountain climber, and Ben has to climb up 10 levels of the mountain and answer questions along the way. So this was one of the vocabulary words, so they have to recognize what daydreaming is. Moby is daydreaming, so it's this one. And I'm just going to go and do a few of them, and each level he runs into more and more obstacles. So just to show you the different types of questions, Moby, don't something to get my attention, it's rude. That's going to be snap, which was another one of the vocabulary words. But we have these features the questions are going to be about the vocabulary of the lesson, the grammar of the lesson, or the content. Same thing here with what we call practice. And this one happens to be a matching. But this is done really nicely, so they just have to match. Can you give me a hand? Where would that go? Down here, right? We'll play it by ear. Tell me a story. We don't need a schedule. Okay, if I get it wrong, it'll bounce out. We'll play it by ear. We don't need a schedule. And then when this finishes, it'll advance to another screen with more questions. Let's see. I'm going to jump right now to the quiz, okay? Because I'm going to come back to our Make a Map feature. And the quiz, I'll do classic mode where they don't see, obviously they don't see if they got the question right or wrong until the end. But the same thing with the quiz. The questions will be vocabulary, grammar, and content of the movie. So I want Moby's party to be a surprise. So which one of these idioms? Zip your lip. Okay, and at the end, they'll see how many they got right, and they can retake it, or they can go back and visit the questions that they got wrong. Let us look now at, over here, Make a Map. Make a Map. So this one takes a little bit more of explaining, but it's a great, one of our great newer features. So let's look right here at the one that I actually already did and submitted as a student. So this is, I just did this one. Maybe you would ask them to illustrate some idioms. And so different things that they could do with this. Also, just to show you how to use these different tools here. So you can use the arrows. It's, they don't need the arrow, but if they wanted to, it's right here. It's, they could write piece of, they could write in here. And if you click on the little pencil in there, then you're able to change the shape of the arrow, the direction of the arrow. Okay, well, you can make the arrow going in two directions. In one direction, it can be dotted line. You can get rid of it. Also, if you press here, you can color code your the nodes. So there are so many different ways that the kids can play with these. Let's look over here. You can see over here, we have the different movies. Now remember, BrainPOP ESL has 3 movies. So the default, the first one is going to be the regular story movie. But then you can also go into having the player right here, the grammar movie or the vocabulary movie. And if you play the movie, you can turn captions on or off.
Shake a leg, Moby. We have a lot to do this morning.
And they can take a snapshot of what was there, of where they stop it, and then they can write in here explaining what shake a leg means, or they don't have to use that. And they can do that with all of these. Let's, wait, let me just go into a blank, create a new map. Okay. Other things that they can do here, there are keywords that go with every with the movies. So these are keywords that were in the movie. But remember, if we go back into the different 3 different movies, there's a different set of keywords for the vocabulary movie. I'll click on keywords, and a different set of keywords for the grammar movie. Okay. So you can see that. And if you click on images, then we have an image bank. The image bank is shared, so it's not going to be different images for all 3 movies. But the really great thing, though, is that you can have, your kids can search for any single image that they want. So Carrie, give me a word, any word. Give me a word, any word. And I'll put it in here.
Horse.
Horse. She did not know I was going to ask her. Well, so all of BrainPOP's vast image bank they have access to, so they can search any kind of image. So that's really great. And they can put in the different nodes and arrows and colors and all of that. So what I love about Make a Map for ELLs is that it's so great for differentiation. They can do a map just about one word, right? So maybe you just want them to do we had the word daydream or zip. Maybe they just make a web of all the things that they can zip. And speaking of that, also they can use templates here. So maybe, they could do here, right, zip. And they could also find zip in the vocabulary and then put here pictures or words of different things that they can zip, a backpack, a sweater, maybe someone will think of a zip code. So they could do in the grammar, they could illustrate their concept of, how they visualize the grammar. They could do, if they're talking about the movie, the story, they could sequence it. They can illustrate one scene in the movie. You're going to think of so many different ways to use Make a Map with your ELLs. And this is also submittable through my BrainPOP. So I think I've gone through, Carrie, I think I've gone through all of the features to show them, because I usually end with our lessons, but we already did that in the beginning. So if I go into BrainPOP Educators and search ESL Teacher Resources, it's going to take you to our new page. Or write this down. This is where you can go to Educators, our Getting Started guide on the left, BrainPOP ESL, that'll take you to the resource page, or this is the URL. But the exciting thing right now is that, well, we also have, we're on devices and mobile apps, but this is the most exciting news right now, because in January is when we're going to have our relaunch. So if you are users, if you're familiar with BrainPOP and with Junior, you know that they have already gone through a redesign. And so that has happened now with BrainPOP ESL, and it's going to be ready to launch in the middle of January. So excited about that. And the very first thing is that it's going to be a new name. So it's from then on, from middle of January on, it's going to be BrainPOP ELL, BrainPOP ELL. So yay, so happy for that. The new design, it's going to look like the BrainPOP Junior page. So, what I showed you before, it won't look exactly the same. We'll have the same features, but it's going to look like BrainPOP Junior. We're going to have new features, and one of the most exciting new features that we're going to have, if you're a BrainPOP Junior user, then you're familiar with wordplay. So we're also going to have wordplay, but they're going to be, so it's an additional vocabulary feature, and 5 additional words on top of the words that you'll see in flashwords, just a deeper dive into 5 new words that are related to that lesson. A lot of times it's multiple meanings of words, things like that you'll find in the Common Core standards and the WIDA standards. More features are going to be integrated into my BrainPOP, which is our student tracking system. And everything will be mobile. In other words, you'll be able to go to esl.brainpop.com on anything, and I can't read it, and we'll work mobile. So I think, and after that, we'll have our assignment builder like BrainPOP has, and we'll also have single sign-on. So that is also coming. Very exciting news coming down the pike. So I'm going to hand it back over to Carrie, and at the end you're going to get a screen with our email. I know this was really fast. I'm really happy to interact with you guys and answer any questions that you have. So shoot us email anytime you want.
All right, thank you so much, Bev. As Bev mentioned, that was kind of a quick overview, but there's just so many tools to share. We wanted to make sure that we stuck to the 45 minutes that we advertised. Most of the questions in there were answered, but feel free to drop a couple more in there if you want to, if something that you had on your mind wasn't yet answered, but we'll go ahead and continue to wrap up. If there's anything that inspired you today, we'd love to hear what your thoughts are, or if you've been familiar with BrainPOP ESL, but today kind of gave you some other ideas for how you might use it in the future. We'd love for you to share that in the chat box. We wanted to just kind of do a quick plug for our certification program. If you feel that you use BrainPOP a lot and you want to be able to show your competency with all of our products, we have a certification program. And it's also a really great way for you to learn what BrainPOP can do beyond the movies. So if you go on to BrainPOP Educators, we have some information about becoming certified. We have nearly 1,000 certified BrainPOP educators. So it's a really exciting program, and it's a great way to connect with people all over the world and share some of the ways they're using BrainPOP and other forms of technology. We also have some professional development where we can come to you if you don't feel that today's webinar was enough and you want to learn even more. We have information on our site for how you can have a brain popper come and do a hands-on workshop with you about all of our products. So with that, I'm going to put our contact information up here. Feel free to get in touch. If you don't receive your certificate of attendance, you can email educators@brainpop.com, and that's the best way to get in touch with our team that handles all of the webinar stuff. So Bev and I will hang around for a few more minutes if you have any questions, but like Bev said, please feel free to get in touch with us if you have any questions about BrainPOP ESL, BrainPOP, any or all of the above. We're happy to help you. So thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving for those that are celebrating, and we'll see you at the end of November. Bye.